I guess it wouldn't be tailhook if we didn't talk about landing on ships, because that's what we do. There's a simulator out there that you'll see way in the back, and it's called the Magic Carpet Simulator. That's not really the official term for this approach mode, but it sounds cool, and buzzwords are cool in the Pentagon, so we stick with it. But what Magic Carpet will allow us to do, finally, we can deck spot for real, and it's okay now. And in fact, it's encouraged with this mode. What it will do is it will be a FADEC software inject as well as flight control computer inject and in the software. And what it will allow us to do, there's a whole lot of trigonometry going on, as you can see, some angles and a bunch of complicated math in the upper right corner that I frankly didn't understand, but I put it in there. What it does is it's given us DLC in the Super Hornet. So currently when we go to full flaps, you have that 40-degree fixed trailing edge flaps and nothing moves on the wing. And I'm a big auto throttle flyer, so every time I move the stick forward and aft, it just changes what my engines are doing to give me more or less power. What this will do is when you move the stick forward and back, your engines will effectively stay at the current RPM they are, and it will make your trailing edge flaps and aileron wings change shape. So you'll directly go up or down just by changing the camber of the wing, and that will allow you to have your engine spooled up at where you want it at all times. The first mode is called Flight Path Rate Command. It's sort of like the flight path angle hold that currently exists in the Super Hornet software, but it has some cool new displays. So you see the velocity vector is still there, and then they have a glide slope reference, a little dashed green line that you pretty much put right through the datums of the lens. And when you're in the daytime pattern coming out of off the 90 or crossing the wake, when you're in a left angle of bank, that line actually extends all the way to the left side of the HUD, so you can line it up early, sort of a crutch when you're rolling wings level. So put the glide slope reference on the datums, and then you check where the ball is, assuming it's centered. At this point, you're just going to put the ship relative velocity vector. It looks like two little whiskers. You put those right next to the lens, and you keep it on right on center line, and you just make a couple right for lineups every once in a while coming down the chute, and you don't even have to, I don't want to say you don't have to fly the ball. As a former Force LSO, it's hard for me to say that, but now that I'm not doing that anymore, it's cool. The better mode, basically all this is engaged with the nose wheel steering button, is just the flight path command. So what you'll do is on the FCS page, we used to joke about this as a JO, and now it's actually here. You type in the glide slope you're flying, and you type in the ship speed. And then what that will do is when you engage it, it just gives you a little upside down triangle, and it removes your velocity vector, because that's just extra stuff you don't need to look at right then. And you just put that right next to the lens, and if the ball, and then it will give you the glide path you need to fly based on the ship speed that when you're coming down the chute. So nominally 650 feet per minute. If the stick is centered, that's what the jet will fly. If you're low, you pull back on the stick and you hold it, so it's spring actuated, if you will. You hold the stick, that will shallow your rate of descent, and when the ball is centered, you just let go. The stick recenters and recaptures the 650 that you told it to fly on the FCS page. If the ship speed changes, as someone tells you, you can actually pull back on the speed brake switch and HOTAS up down and change the ship speed on the fly and move that little, basically the math that's involved to figure out the delta between the velocity vector and that upside down triangle will change. Frankly, you don't really need to do it. You guys can get in the sim, and it really speaks for itself. It's going to make it great to land on a boat even at night. I don't know if you'll ever not be nervous landing at night, but this will certainly make it a lot easier knowing that the plane's doing the majority of the work for us. So that is Magic Carpet, and that's coming to a Super Hornet near you soon enough. And that's all I have.